I guess you guys are wondering, what am I doing on this page? Well, I am a mother of a child who wants to become a tennis player. And yes, yeah, I want to start, before I was recording my child playing tennis and wanted people to see that, she plays excellent tennis and da da da. She was young and still is young and still playing tennis, but I'm starting this. I want to do things different now. Of course, my daughter is still the focus as far as this is her channel and her tennis experience. But I'm going to change things around, and I'll tell you why. For one, I used to record my daughter playing tennis, playing her games and practice and everything. And then she came to me and she says, Mama, I don't want to be recorded anymore. And I was like, why not? I was like, if you want to be a tennis star, you're going to be recorded. No, I don't want that. So, okay, I'm going to respect that. And I was like, okay, fine. So I decided to do things a little bit different because now I want to talk about my experience as being a tennis mom. And yeah, I got so many stories and I got so many emotions. And, there's a lot of focus on the tennis players or anybody, or if you have a child who's in sports in general, the focus is usually on your child, and that's totally okay. But I think there should be like a support group or a way that the parents can talk, because it's also emotional for us. I know you're like, hey, what are you talking about? Well, it is. It really is. I mean, if you're dealing with a child who has a talent, but then you see, okay, the talent is there, but you have to stay focused. You have to continuously practice. And, my child, she started off quite young playing tennis. Okay, what is young? She started at 7. So, okay, that's not that young, but it's young. And before, in the beginning, she was like, I want to play tennis. And then I didn't take it too serious. I had her in tennis classes and, she really liked it. And the trainers came to me and said, wow, your daughter's really good. So I still didn't put any too much thought into it because, I figured, okay, that's good. I'm glad she enjoys it. And it seems like she's pretty good at it. And then it got to the point where she's like, Mom, I like this sport so much that I want to make it my career one day. I want to go profi. So I thought, oh, okay, wow. She's calling out what she wants to do later on. And I'm thinking, all right. And so I still kept it low. I still didn't, I took it serious, but I didn't take it too serious. And then I thought it was so cute because the tennis place where she was, they had this program, like every time you played, you would, save these vouchers. And then after so many vouchers, you could turn them into purchasing an item from their shop with their logo on it. Or you can save so many and invest it in having a single training. And so I thought that was so cute because she saved all her vouchers and decided to get her a personal trainer because she was like, Mom, I want to do this. So I thought, okay, wow. Maybe it's time to start thinking different. I too was playing tennis and I was also investing a lot of energy and money and into my tennis because I love the sport. It's an amazing sport and I can highly recommend it for anybody. It's a sport that you could even play when you're older. So I thought, oh yeah, and it's also a great way to stay in shape. So so I thought, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, okay, then let's do this. So she took her first class and and she's like, I really like this, Mom. And so I thought, okay. And then, that's actually how we started. And then from that day on, I've really been investing, trying to get her into the best tennis schools, trying to find the best coach. And she's been doing extraordinarily well. But on the other hand, my child could be quite difficult. I don't know how it is for your child. Maybe you have one of those easy kids who they don't really go through ups and downs with playing. And, we've hit that I'm almost a teenager, and I'm stubborn. Speaking of my child, I'm stubborn, and I don't necessarily need to listen to all the tennis trainers. I know what to do, and I'm kind of right there at that point, and also sometimes, my child, sometimes she just loses the desire to play, it's still there, she still talks about it, but sometimes the action speaks different. So, up to now, we've really invested a lot. I mean, she's had personal trainers. She's right now in the best school. I just actually quit her contract at this school because I was really upset. So, yeah, basically, I want to start vlogging my experience as a parent who is working with a child who wants to become successful. And I want to share my experience and what I have to go through. And maybe you're going through the same, in the sports world, and wanting the best for your child. And tennis is a brutal sport. I mean, I never thought of tennis that way. I always thought tennis was something easy going. Yeah, it's a sport, but it's a mental thing. And, yes, your kids or a tennis player has to go through the mental part of just surviving and just believing in themselves, because it's a one-man game. You don't have anybody else to blame except yourself. So what comes out of it is your performance. So, and that's the thing with tennis. And it's like, oh, wow. So not only, are you a parent of a child who wants to become something, but you're also, you're also like you're a motivator, you're a fighter, you're a promoter, you're a kind of a finance person, because you got to make sure that the finances are correct. You're also a little, it's a little bit of everything. You also sacrifice your life as well, because not only do you take your child to these tennis practices, especially if they want to go on the profi level, it requires, it's a daily and it's a consistent thing. And sometimes you have to, make sure that your child is staying in line, at least my child is like that, I don't know. I hear different stories. I hear, especially those ones who are really famous, and, they come back and they tell their experience of how they grew up as a child. And, they were like, I dream and I sleep and eat and think about tennis or whatever sport it may be. And it's just like, well, I don't know if my child does that really. I mean, she loves it, and she claims she really wants to be a professional tennis player. But sometimes I think, is she just, I don't know, is this really what she wants, or is she just saying it? Because now it's starting to get hard. As you start to go up, and if you're good, you come into other kids who have that same desire and who are just as good, and they are really focused. So, it's challenging, to also keep your child motivated and continue, to get them to say, hey, don't quit, and not only that, not only you have to keep your child focused, but you got to make sure that your child is getting the proper training. If you have a difficult child who's very, I don't want to say that she's difficult. She's very stubborn, and if she doesn't want something, she doesn't want it. If she don't want to do it, she will not do it. And I think that's cool. But I'm like, listen, if we're going to go this route, we have to stay consistent with it. We can't be missing any days. We can't, it's a little bit of sacrifice until, of course, I would never say you got to miss miss a birthday party and, go play this game. No, I think your child should also have, or my child should also have a life. yeah, it's challenging. It's really challenging. And for those who, I mean, like I said, not everybody, when you're sitting at those games and you know, you see your child playing and the thoughts that go through your head. I honestly, and I hate to say it, I don't like to watch my child play. Not really. It's emotional. It's not emotional, but it's hard for me to watch, you know. Especially if she's making mistakes. You know, tennis is not just mental, but it's also like, you know, oftentimes a person wins just due to your mistakes that you make. So that could be that's hard to look at, you know, if your child's sitting up there making mistakes and you're like, you know, but on the other hand, you know, okay, that's still a child, you know, you gotta have a nice balance. But man, I'm telling you, the thoughts that go through your head when you're at these games, you know, what I do now, I always take my headphones with me because, you know, you hear the memory, the bickering from the other parents, you know, some parents, they really flip out, you know, if their kids do awful, or if they lose. I always tell my child, look, don't worry about it. Learn from the mistake, do better next time. But sometimes that's not always easy. You know, my child, when she loses, she's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, seriously, it's like she gives me this look like, and nasty too. So usually if she loses, I try to stay out the way. I try to, you know, I don't say nothing to her for a while until she calmed down, and then you know, you can talk to her again. But whew, that's emotionally hard, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I guess, like I said, maybe some people don't see it that way. Maybe they see it like, you know, the player has a lot of stress, but honestly, the parents also have just as much stress. You know, like I said, you have the stress of, you know, making sure that your child stay focused. You have the stress of making sure that the child gets the proper training. You know, I noticed with tennis, you know, I don't think price has anything to do with, you know, the quality of the services that you get. You know, you can pay a lot of money and still the service is mediocre. You know, the attention towards your child is mediocre. You know, the trainings plan, you know, I'm pretty much always present. I'm always looking because as a parent, you really need to have an eye or a focus on and seeing, okay, what type of training is your child getting? Are they kind of like pulling the carpet from underneath you and just, you know, trying to cash in? You know, is it very routine? Is it different? You know, you got to keep the child motivated. And you know, is this, you know, what's going on here, you know? And then if you don't see any wins, you're thinking, okay, I'm sure it has a lot to do with the training, you know. At least that's for me. That's my story. I'm sure you all have different stories. Yeah, I want to start vlogging, and I want to start vlogging my experience, and hopefully I can get some comments, maybe some tips. Maybe you can share your interests or not interests, your experience. Because yeah, being a tennis mother or a mother in general who has a child in sports it's challenging. It's very challenging. You know, you also have to be realistic with your child too. You know, look, you need to have a second plan. You know, a plan B in the case it doesn't work out. So, you know, all of these things is like, ooh. You know, I was the other day watching my child play, and she did well the first game. The next day wasn't so good. It was very nasty, and I was just like, oh, you know, I don't know. Can I continue to do this? You know, it's complicated. It really is. It's not easy, and don't get me wrong. I don't want to seem to be the person who's like complaining, but yeah, I want to make this like an outlet where, you know, parents can talk about their experience. I actually have another channel, so I don't know, maybe if you guys are following me there, maybe you are aware I've done a few videos where I talk about my experience, what I've had with parents, you know, how evil they can get. They're just as competitive as the children are, sometimes even worse. And the experience that I've made there, you know, and I myself, sometimes I'm also like, you know, it's awful, the thoughts that go through your head when you're seeing these two sweet kids playing. You're hoping the other kid messes up. It's mean, but come on, let's be realistic. It's I think it's a human thing. It's a human nature. You know, when you want to get further, you want to, you don't mean to wish it, but on the one hand, you want to see your child get further. So you're thinking, oh, I hope they mess up. I hope they don't get that far, you know, although you're like, good luck, you know, but I mean it really when I say good luck, but, you know, I'm also saying I want my child to have better luck. You know what I mean? So I don't know, guys. Yeah, at the moment, where am I with my child? Yesterday she was at her training, and yeah, she didn't play so good against this one girl. She has she trains with this other young lady, and in the beginning, my daughter used to beat her in tennis, and now, you know, the tables turn. Now this girl is kicking her butt, and so she's like, oh, I can't stand her. And I'm like, why can't you stand? Because she's just mean and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking, you know, you got to teach your child, don't take it personal. This is a sport. May the best man win, you know. She's winning because she's been very focused. She's, you know, and I was like, well, what does she do? I mean, when you guys played the game, you know, which moves did she make? You know, where did she hit the ball? You know, what did she do to make you, you know, lose? And she was like, well, I was like, well, what happened? Well, I kept hitting the ball into the net. Well, bingo, there you go. She had nothing to do with it. You did that. You did that yourself. You weren't concentrated. You know, you did, I don't know, maybe you didn't have the faith or belief that you could kick her butt, you know. I'm telling you, tennis is very, very mental, you know. Once you lose a game against a person, then you think, oh my gosh, can I beat them? I mean, I know I beat them before, but can I beat them again? They're good now. You know, it's mental. It's so mental. You can't even imagine. But however, she played the game, and then she came and she was just like, Mom, I'm questioning if I'm really good. You know, for the longest time in the very beginning, like I said, you know, everybody was like glorifying her. Oh my gosh, you're the best tennis player. Oh my gosh, she's got so much talent. That's what she heard. She got a little, maybe she got a little bit arrogant. I wouldn't say a little, maybe she was a little bit arrogant because she thought, oh, I'm really good. I know everything. And now, you know, and she kind of slacked off, you know. In November, she did not play at all, but that wasn't due because, because she didn't want to. Excuse me. Drink some water. That was due because she had an injury. And then she, after the injury was healed, then she came down with a cold. So she was out for a whole month. And tennis, that's like, whew, that's a huge setback, you know, because that means she couldn't do any tournaments. So she was really missing the training. December is anyway not really a good training month for us because she had 2 weeks of, you know, somewhat good training, maybe, and she had two tournaments which she lost, and so of course she was demotivated because, you know, the training was missing, the practice was missing. But however, so then we went on vacation. Most of the time during the vacations, we're in Fuerteventura, and there she has a tennis coach, a really nice guy, really sweet guy. I can definitely recommend him. But she's always like, Mom, when I'm there, I don't want to train too much. I want to take it easy. I also want to have vacation. And then I'm thinking, yeah, okay, yes, you got to have vacation, but you still have to stay fit. You know, when you come back, you gotta have that condition, you know, and because you miss so much, it's even more essential that you practice, you know. And so she's like, yeah, but I still want I don't want to play so much, you know. And okay, I'm like, all right, fine. So, I mean, she played maybe 3 times a week or 2 times a week, only 1 hour, maybe 2 hours one time. And so then we came back, we arrived back in Germany. And she had like, she had training, but not her normal training, because I had a dispute with the school where she, you know, where she's training, and then I decided, you know what, I don't need this crap. I'm not anyway happy with the training right now. I think her coach was lacking. Nice guy, but you know, it's an expensive school, and I just felt like the guy anyway was a little bit slacking on the trainings plan. I just see them working on the same basic, the forehand, backhand, volleys, and that's it. You know, tennis is more than that. And then of course she has her like athletic part where she has to race up and down. But I just felt like it was lame. So of course if the trainings program is lame, then I don't know. I don't think the results are going to be good. You know, of course, that also comes from within my daughter. She also has to put in the effort, but I really do believe that had a big impact, or part of the reason why she wasn't winning. But however, that's my opinion. That can be argued. So yeah, I put on my perfume. Ooh, I love this perfume. Yeah, she so due to the fact that I pulled her out of this training school, we were like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do as far as training? My child normally trains like 4 times a week. And so she was missing 2 days because at this school, we normally go there 2 times a week. And it's an intense training. And so now that that's no more, she only had the training which she normally has on Mondays, and then a singles class, which she had on Thursday, and then she got a chance to hit a few balls, and you know, with another girl. So it was a different program. And then Saturday she had her game, and so it wasn't that good, honestly. I mean, like I said, she won the first set, but that was only due to the fact because the girl wasn't as strong as my daughter. But the next day, the next girl that she played against was really focused. But in all honesty, I would say that the little girl and my daughter were pretty much on the same level. But the other little girl won, and I'll tell you the reason why. I believe she was more focused than my daughter. Definitely, she was way more focused. My daughter at the end was making a lot of mistakes. Like I said, that's how it is in tennis. You know, and it was funny because my daughter started off really good. She played really well the first few rounds, but then something happened, and then the other girl came back and came back with full force and stayed focused and didn't make any mistakes. And my daughter started making mistakes, and that was it. So of course she lost, and then she was demotivated, of course, and she was like, Mom, I don't feel so good, you know. And yesterday, then she played again, and then, like I said, she didn't play so good against this one girl who she normally used to be able to beat, but now can't beat anymore because that girl like totally exceeded her. And so she's like, Mom, I want to train more. I want to train more. And I was like, look, when you had the training opportunities, you didn't use it, you know. And the thing with tennis, you have to train. You have to train. You have to train, and you have to stay focused. Otherwise, so I did find an alternative school where she can train. Unfortunately, the plan is still not like before because one day she is missing for training. And so I decided to, on that day that she doesn't have a training, I decided to train with her. So I won't be able to, you know, teach her like her trainers usually teach her, but I can definitely help her out as far as, you know, that she gets better in her serves and maybe throw some balls and maybe even hit a few balls, you know, that she, you know, stays in training. So she's like, I don't know if that's going to work. And I'm like, better than nothing. But however, yes, that's kind of like where I am now. yeah, she was questioning herself. She's like, Mom, I don't even know if I still want to do this. Maybe I am a terrible trainer. Maybe I'm a terrible player. I don't play so good anymore. And I was like, no, you are a very good player. You just have to, stay focused. And of course, you have to practice. I'm not the type of person that'll, who's gonna force training on her. But there's a saying, what you put in is what you get out. So if you didn't put a whole lot in, don't expect a whole lot out of it, and I think now she's starting to see, she's like, I'm going to train good today. And tomorrow, you can do this and help me out in this way. So it's starting to kick in that, that she's like, okay, I see what you're saying. All this, let me take a break stuff isn't going to work, especially at her young age. At this young age, this is the time where you really got to, push forward. Otherwise, I don't know, the train will leave you. You'll start to see that your opponents are exceeding you, so however, yeah, but not only, like I said, not only you have to keep your child motivated, you yourself have to stay motivated. You have to, see things that your child may not be able to see right now, and that's sometimes that's not easy, and then you have to sometimes deal with not so friendly parents, or coaches or whatever. So yeah, I hope that I can get a conversation going. I would be very happy to hear you all's experience. This is new for me, so I want to start, vlogging and sharing my experience instead of filming my child. Maybe from time to time I might put her in there, if she wants me to film her and put her in there. But yeah, this is basically, I want to change the concept. And yeah, like I said, I want to create a vlog for the parents, that they can, listen to my experience. Maybe they can relate. And also, like I said, write down in the comments and, get a support group going on or something, it's not easy. When I have watched the movie 2 times, King Richard, great movie. I even read Richard Williams' book. And yeah, it's amazing what he did for his children and also what he had to go through in order to get there. And psychologically, I mean, I know he was a little bit crazed because nobody believed him, or, most people thought he was crazy, and yeah, he had to put in some sacrifices too, had to sacrifice somewhat his life to make sure that his children got up there. So, it would be, yeah, it would be so cool if, there would be like a movement going on for like all these professional players, that their parents come forth and try to help one another out, try to direct them in the right direction of, how to be, where to go, how to negotiate, it's, are you doing the best? Are you pushing too much? Blah, 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 blah. Anywho, yeah, thanks for listening. If you got down to the end of the video, and yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna really start putting in more vlogs and yeah, sharing my experience. Maybe I'm gonna do something like a daily experience, or share what I did and how I felt, and my child. And like I said, I would love to read your comments. Drop a comment below. Share is caring. I think we can all help one another out. And yeah, we all want to see our children succeed. And yeah, we also want to be realistic, in the case of, so yeah, I would be so happy to hear from you. And yeah, thanks for tuning in and listening. And yeah, thank you. Bye until next time.